Is there something about cruising you just don't like? Is there something out there that happens in the cruise world that is absolutely not for you, even though perhaps a bunch of other people really, really love it? Well, let's find out if your dislike is on today's list. Good Saturday morning, everybody. Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to this week's episode of What Every Cruiser Wants. Well, actually, this week it's going to be what cruisers don't like. See, I saw a post over on Facebook that said, hey, what is something that people really enjoy about cruising, but you dislike? You don't like it. And I went through the comments, I gathered them up, and I've got a list of the most popular things that people don't like. Now, some of these items on this list, they're probably going to come at absolutely no surprise. I think some of these are pretty universal dislikes for a majority of cruisers. Maybe some of them will surprise you because there were a couple things on there. Somebody absolutely disliked the fact that people wear lanyards with their room key around their neck. Somebody dislikes the fact that people put magnets on their doors. Somebody disliked the fact that they had to share tables in the MDRs. So let's jump into the list and let's find out if you agree or disagree with what these people think. So we're going to start off with one that, well, look, we've seen plenty of comments on before, talked about it on several of our shows before. People dislike singing and dancing in the main dining room. So not surprised that that made the list. And we know specifically what cruise line that's really referring to. There's one that's notorious for Showtime. Though there are cruise lines and choices out there that do not have singing and dancing in the main dining room. But our next one, I think we can kind of universally agree as cruisers that chair hogs are an absolute issue. They're a menace. They are a problem. When we're talking about those people that go up to the pool deck 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, go put out towels, put their stuff on all the chairs, then they leave. They may not come back until lunchtime or sometime in the afternoon. But these chairs will still just sit empty for hours after hour. Nobody can use them because they put their stuff out there. Or the person that goes into the main theater early before a production show goes down to the front row and starts telling everybody, no, this is for my whole family. I'm reserving this entire row. So yeah, I think we can all agree chair hogs continue to be an issue and a problem and probably a dislike for everybody. Now, one that made the list, I don't know if I'm surprised it made the list or not, but the number of people that said drinking. Drinking was something they disliked on their cruise. And I'm sure there's plenty of people that board cruise ships and don't drink regularly. I'm one of them. Of course, it doesn't bother me that others are doing it, but this was kind of a wide range of comments about drinking, everything from belligerent drunks to people getting overly intoxicated to people who simply didn't like the fact that there were drink packages on board the ships. But yeah, there were quite a few comments from people that really didn't like the fact that there was drinking on cruises. Now, our next one kind of surprised me a little bit because, well, you don't have to participate at all. And there were several comments of people who didn't like theme nights on board their ships. So, sometimes it's Caribbean nights. You dress like in a Hawaiian or Caribbean type. Sure, that's an example of a theme night on board a ship, but there's no requirement. There's no pressure. You don't have to, and nobody makes you. You can wear whatever you want to wear, within reason, of course, but you don't have to participate in theme nights. But there's people out there that don't like them and don't think they should have theme night. How about somebody who doesn't like the fact that cruise lines have specialty dining? They don't want to pay for their food. They think it all should all be included. They're not going to a specialty restaurant. They're not going to spend their money there. But again, it's not a requirement. You don't have to participate. And I get if you don't like it. I get if you don't want to go. But to dislike it, when you simply have to just don't choose it, I guess. How about photographers in the main dining room during dinner? You sit down, you're enjoying some conversation, eating your food, and here comes the photographer. Hey, scoot together. Let me take a picture of you with a mouthful of food, whatever the case may be. That made the list, and I'm going to be 100% honest. I really could do without photographers in the main dining room while I'm there eating my dinner. Yeah, sure, they got spots set up where they can do pictures and stuff around the ship. That's fine. That's great. But do we really need them in the main dining room? I'm gonna have to agree with that one. I don't really care for that one either. How about obnoxious cruise directors? Every time you try to do an activity, here comes the cruise director. They're on the announcements, they're talking, they got things to say, they're leading activities. Are cruise directors obnoxious? Would you rather just be left alone and not have to put up with a active participating cruise director? I don't know that a lot of people are going to get behind that particular statement. There are cruise lines out there where you don't really see the cruise director a whole lot. You may see him at the beginning of a production show or something going on in the main theater, but as a general rule, you don't see him around the ship participating in a lot of activities, unless, of course, it's Carnival, and unless, of course, it's the fun ships. And if you're a Carnival cruiser and you cruise Carnival specifically because you like it, I don't know. There's a lot of people that will book ships specifically for the cruise director. So I don't know that that one's going to have a whole bunch of support. All right, and I got two more for you. And these last two, they're a couple of big ones. A couple of big ones. And this one has also brought up a lot of comments before. A lot of people don't like it. That is smoking in the casino, smoky casinos. Now, whether or not that's they simply have to pass through the casino to get where they're going, they don't like that smell. Whether they want to gamble in the casino and they don't like that smell. And I know a lot of ships are putting in non smoking casinos. They happen to be normally smaller than the main casino, may not have as many games, as many machines, and it definitely creates a lot of comments where people are like, stop, no more smoking in the casino. That is what we dislike. We don't like the smell. We don't want to be in there. We don't like to be in there. Now, cruise lines will tell you it's a revenue thing. They say the reason they allow it is because smoking and gambling apparently makes more money. But I do have a prediction, and it's only my prediction, not backed by anything other than what I think is going to happen. I do think here in the future, casinos are probably going to all go non smoking. I think eventually they are going to go non smoking indoors anywhere on a cruise ship. Just the outside smoking areas will remain. But that is just a prediction. No cruise line has said that yet. And finally, the one comment I saw repeated more than any others involved the swimming pools and hot tubs. And this has several parts that go in with that as well. The pools are too small. The pools are full of drunk people. The pools and hot tubs are full of unsupervised, rowdy children. Definitely saw that one several times. Unsupervised kids in the hot tub, period. And I did see several comments, and this one kind of makes you think a little bit, is that you can watch the hot tubs and see the same people in the hot tub for hour after hour after hour. They are drinking drinks, ordering their drinks, they're having fun, they're having a good time, but they don't get out of the hot tubs for hours on end. And it does kind of bring up the question, do these people never have to go to the bathroom after drinking all these drinks? Or are they doing something else in the hot tub? That one made the list more than once too, is are people going to the bathroom in these hot tubs because they never get out? That one kind of makes you think. Hopefully you're not thinking about that the next time you hop in a hot tub or a swimming pool on board a cruise ship. Now, I want to be clear. These are people's personal dislikes. And a lot of this is right now, at least, part of cruising. You're going to have door decorations, specialty restaurants. You're going to have people wearing their room keys on their lanyards. Unfortunately, you're going to have chair hogs. I don't know that the cruise lines have quite figured out a way to stop that from happening. They try, they make rules, they attempt to enforce it, but you guys know how that goes. There's still going to be singing and dancing in the main dining room on certain cruise lines. Right now, you're still going to have smoking in the casino, and you're still going to have crowded hot tubs and pools because, yeah, they are smaller on cruise ships, and there's a butt ton of people on some of these mega cruise ships with 6,000 plus people. But what do you guys think of this list? Did I miss anything? Is there something that should be added to this list that I didn't talk about today? Do you have a personal cruising dislike? Something you want changed? Something you wish was different? Or something maybe you just avoid and don't participate in because it's just not your thing? Let me know in the comments below. And that's going to be our show this week for what every cruiser dislikes if you ask them what they don't like about their cruise. Kind of a long title, but you know what? We're going to go with it anyway. We are going to go with it anyway. Now, if you've enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we put out a new video. Hope everyone out there is having a really great day. And like always, we will see you out on the high seas.